Hello everybody and welcome back to the second shelf. I recently saw a video over at Russell's channel, Ink and Paper blog, in which he talks about how he rates the books he reads, and he means then on Goodreads. I will leave a link to his video down below, and if you don't know Russell's channel, please go check it out and subscribe. But anyway, so I watched this video and I thought this is actually an interesting topic. And I want to make a video of my own. So in this video, I try to explain and discuss how I personally rate the books that I read on Goodreads. And I want to start off with a couple of general observations, and then I move on to the specific star rating. So first, as a general observation, I rate all the books I read in the same way. So whether it's literary fiction, non-fiction, genre fiction like crime or fantasy or sci-fi, I rate the same across the board. The second observation is that I take the instruction manual, so to speak, from Goodreads quite literally. So when you look at the star rating, you find a little written text below. So 1 star is I didn't like it, 2 star it was okay, 3 star I like it, 4 star I really liked it, and 5 star it was amazing. I take that literally in the sense that I just rate the books asking myself, how much did I like it? Not was it an exceptionally good book, but just how much did I enjoy reading it? That helps, first of all, because across genres, a crime fiction book, I have a different expectation than when I read a literary fiction book or a non-fiction book. So a crime fiction, a thriller that I really liked, I will give it 4 stars, even though objectively speaking, it might not be as good a book as a 4-star literary read, if you know what I mean. So I'm just asking that simple question, how much did I like the book? On a side note, most of the time, when I say I really like a book, 4 stars, also means that I think it's a good book in that genre. There are some exceptions when my personal appreciation, in other words, the fact how much I like a book and the fact how good I think a book is, they really diverge, and I will talk about that a little later. So, but those are just my general rules how I rate books on Goodreads. And the third general observation, is that when I look at a book, thinking about picking it up, and I see the rating, I mostly look then for people whom I know, how they rated the book, especially if I have quite a good estimation of their taste, their personal taste, and I know from people that I know or do buddy reads with whether I have a similar taste. So I don't just, go and look at the rating, and if it's almost 4 stars, then I think, well, I have to read it, because tastes obviously can differ quite a lot. So those are just the general rules that I apply. And now on to the specific star ratings. When you look at my Goodreads page and the books that I read and the ratings, you will see that most of my books are 3-star reads. And unlike other people, I have seen videos of or talking about ratings. For a lot of people, obviously, 3 stars is quite a bad book. That's not for me. Like I said, I take the written instruction literally. I liked it, 3 stars. It's not an exceptional book for me. It's not fantastic. I probably won't reread it, but I thought it was good most of the time, as well, as I said earlier, and I liked it. I liked the experience. An example of that is for instance, Camilla Shamsi's book Burnt Shadows, which I read earlier this fall together with Nashwa. It's the story about a Japanese woman just after the Nagasaki atomic bomb, and we follow her life until her old age. I thought it was an enjoyable read. I really liked it, but I also saw some flaws, stuff that I didn't like with the pacing. So, there are pros and cons with the book, but overall, I enjoyed the reading experience. So it's a three-star book. Going down from 3 stars, 1 star, 2-star book, an okay book. I didn't particularly like it a lot, but I didn't think it was a really bad reading experience, or I didn't hate the book or thought it was just worthless. So a 2-star book for me is not a book probably that I would recommend, or at least not to people with a similar taste. Than I have. So it's an okay book, but there are a lot of flaws that made me think it's not a very enjoyable read. An example for a 2-star read is Mbole Mbue's book Behold the Dreamers, that follows a Cameroon immigrant, Gender, and his young wife Nani in New York. I didn't think I thought the theme was interesting, but I didn't think the characters were well developed. It was rather cliched, in my opinion. The story didn't really grab me. It was boring for me at times, so it was a 2-star read. Moving down again 1 star to a 1-star read. A book that I didn't like. A book that annoyed me, that I finished, because I don't rate books if I DNF them, but that I really didn't like, whatever genre it's in, and that in addition annoyed me. An example for this, for my 1-star read, I don't give out 1 stars that often, is Porochista Kakpoor's memoir Sick, which I read earlier this year. It's about her life, suffering from multiple illnesses that were difficult to diagnose, and she tells us about her journey, through these illnesses. And I thought the book was self-indulgent, from a self-righteous author, privileged and not realizing her privilege. So it really annoyed me. Even though I enjoy reading memoirs and I enjoy reading books about illnesses, but the way Kakpoor described it and the way her voice came across in this memoir just annoyed the hell out of me, so it was a 1-star read. Moving from the 3-star book to the other side, the more enjoyable side of the scale, a 4-star book. A book, like Goodreads said, that I really liked. I will probably reread it, or at least I would want to reread it. I would recommend it to people joyfully, even more than a 3-star read. It makes me, I want to read it fast. I can't wait to pick it up. Also very important for me is I like the ending, because sometimes a book tends to go to the 4-star category through the read, and then I think the ending is flat, or I didn't like the ending, and then it will go back to the 3-star. An example for a 4-star read is Cass Freer's debut crime fiction book, Sweet Little Lies, which I read earlier this summer, I think in September, so it was more fall than summer. It's the first in a new series following a female detective, Kat Kinsella. And I thought it was, the idea of the crime was really good, the clues were good, it was fast-paced, I wanted to know what happened. So I really enjoyed the reading experience, and that you can already see from the way I talk about it, that's more than a 3-star read, which, I like, but I'm not getting overly excited when I read it. So Sweet Little Lies, for me, was a 4-star read. Then the last category, 5 stars. Again, like with the 1-star, I don't give out 5 stars that often. I think this year I had maybe 3 or 4 5-star reads, and a 5-star read means for me Goodreads said it's amazing. I think it's amazing that it's an exceptional book for me. That the reading experience was exceptional. That I it made me think. For instance, if it's literary fiction or non-fiction, in a way that a 3-star or 4-star book wouldn't. I will remember it. I will want to reread it. I want other people to read it. I want to discuss it with other people. So I don't think that many books, especially if you read a lot, for me at least, are in that category. That doesn't mean that, you know, a 3 or 4-star book is I didn't like it or is a bad book. Not at all. But if I look at a year and I look at the 5-star reads, those were exceptional reads for me. The most recent example of a 5-star read it was Joyce Carol Oates' new book, Hazards of Time Travel. I talked about this book in my recent reads video from not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. It follows a young woman in a dystopian future, 2039, where everything is regulated and freedom is curtailed, and she does something that doesn't fit with society, and as a punishment, the young woman is sent back to 1959 for 4 years into exile. And then the story follows her, how she deals with her life in the late 1950s. I reread the book right away. That's another indicator, because I wanted to get more out of it. I thought the ideas explored in the book were exceptional. I'm still thinking about it. And so it's a read that is a really exceptional experience, and therefore it's a 5-star read. So those are the 1 to 5-star ratings I give out. And I have 2 final observations. The first one is, like many people, I think it's a pity that Goodreads doesn't have half stars. If I am dubious between, you know, whether it's a 3 or 4-star book, I will indicate in the review section, for instance, it's a 3.5, and then I will give the star rating a 3-star if I think it's closer to a 3-star, and a 4-star rating if it's closer to a 4-star, which is quite arbitrary, I have to say. But I indicated, at least for myself, that it falls in between 2 stars. And the last observation, I was talking about that earlier in my introduction, that sometimes I read a book that I really don't like, I don't enjoy, but I can see it's a good book. If that happens, I don't give out a rating most of the time. An example for that is Hilary Mantel, Wolf Hall. It's just not for me. I thought it was boring. I was bored by the reading experience. I didn't care that much for Cromwell. I'm not into Tudor. I'm not that interested in that kind of book. But I could see, if I took a step back, I could see what Hilary Mantel wanted to do and how she achieved it, and that it was really well done. But not for me. But in order to, you know, also for myself, realize that there is a big difference between my enjoyment of the book and the way I think I would rate the quality of a book, I don't give it any rating. So these were my 2 cents, longer than 2 cents, because I think it's almost 15 minutes, about how I rate books. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I would really want to know, if you are on Goodreads or whether you rate books for yourself, maybe how you do it. How you give out stars. Do you give out stars at all? Do you use Goodreads? So just let me know down in the comments, and I will see you all soon in my next video. Bye-bye.